Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Eye on the Money, the television show that gives you insights into how to improve your financial well-being as well as make your money work for you. I'm Ingrid Nantege. On the show today, we discuss how to effectively set financial goals. Now, setting short-term, mid-term, long-term financial goals is an important step towards becoming financially secure. If you aren't working towards anything specific, you're likely to spend more than you should. You'll then come short when you need money for unexpected bills, not to mention when you want to retire. You might get stuck in a vicious cycle of debt and feel like you never have enough cash to get properly insured, leaving you more than vulnerable when you need to handle some life's major risks. Annual financial planning gives you an opportunity to formally review your goals, update them, and review your progress since. If you've never set goals before this planning period gives you the opportunity to formulate them for the first time so you can get or stay on firm financial footing. Now, joining me on the show today to discuss how financial goals and how to attain them is Chacha Nyaigoti Bichang'a, personal finance coach and also author of Mastering Your Money. Thank you very much for coming back onto the show, Chacha. Chacha, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you to Ingrid and good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to the show. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure too.
So today we discuss financial goals. For our audience back home who might be wondering, it might sound straightforward, but someone might wonder, is this the same as saving? Is this the same as putting away? Just help us understand what is a financial goal.
Thank you, Ingrid, for that question. As you have said, that setting short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals is a key pillar in attaining personal financial freedom. To begin with, the issue of setting goals, before we define it, is actually something that is considered to be very simple. But it is not as simple as we take it. Neither is it very difficult. And for that matter, remember now we are on the actually 16th of February, meaning that since the year began, 1 month and 15 days have passed by. Remember that at the beginning of the year, there is the hype of setting New Year goals, New Year resolutions, and so on. But the challenge that lies that many Kenyans face as we move to the second and third month is the ability to achieve the set goals. To begin with, what is a goal? A goal, Ingrid, is just like a signpost. It is a compass. It shows you the direction of where you should go, where you are coming from, and where you are going. And it also shows how to reach your final destination. So for that matter, a goal gives you a bearing. It indicates your starting point and your ending point. And in fact, one great inspirational speaker, coach, said that a goal is a dream with a deadline. That is Napoleon Hill, the writer of Think and Grow Rich, that a goal is a dream with a deadline. By dream, it means a goal is a vision, is a lifelong plan, an ambition that one sets to achieve. And in this case, a dream that is broken down into actionable activities, actionable states, becomes a plan. And a plan that is supported by action produces the desirable results. So we have a goal, which is a dream. You break it down into what? A plan by identifying the list of activities that one is going to act on. And once you take action, considering your plan of activities, then you have the results. And as you have said, we have three kinds of goals. We have short-term goals, which range from 3 months to 12 months, that is 1 year. We have medium-term goals, which range from 2 years to around 5 years. And then we have long-term goals that range from 5 years to 10 years and beyond. For short-term goals, for that matter, Ingrid, you can set a goal that by the end of the year, I will want to save, let's say, 120,000. Break it down to the monthly goal, to the weekly and year goal, meaning that by the end of the month, you intend to save 10,000 shillings from your total income. And the end result for that short-term goal is to realize 120,000 Kenyan shillings. Then medium-term goal, you may say, I want to save, for example, I want to save 240,000, which I can pay for my fees. For example, if you are pursuing higher education. You may want, for example, you want to invest in government securities, for example, treasury bonds, which actually the minimum is 2 years. And actually they go up to, in fact, 30 years, which will be a long-term goal. The long-term goals here, for example, you take an educational policy for your children. Let's say a 10-year plan, a 15-year plan. You save for retirement. That becomes a long-term goal. Thank you so much, Ingrid. That tells us that for you to set a goal, the important thing is to have the big why.
Thank you very much. And I'm so glad then you've gone into the why, Chacha, because you've helped us perfectly explain what a financial goal is. It's really a roadmap that will give you direction and help you attain a certain goal. And you know, the goal should be in line with a dream. But someone may argue and say, I mean, I already budget, I already save, I already, you know, have all these, you know, practices I've put in place when it comes to my money. Why then should I also consider having financial goals? What would you say about that, Chacha?
Thank you. You know, budgeting goes in line with the set goals. You cannot budget if you don't have what you want to achieve by the end of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and so on. So, you know, you budget for a reason, because here budget is a spending plan, a blueprint that tells you where every shilling goes. And in this case, why do you budget? You budget so that you can achieve your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. So there is no way in which one could say, I budget and therefore no need of a goal. You know, you should have the big why, the reason as to why you budget.
Right.
And when you have the big why, the driving force, whereby, for example, you say, I'm budgeting to save 10,000 shillings from my monthly salary so that by the end of the month, by the end of the year rather, I have 120,000 shillings, which I will use for paying fees, you see, or which I can use or to build my emergency fund that can sustain me for 3 to 6 months in case I lose my source of income, in case I lose my job. So budgeting and goal setting go hand in hand. You can't separate the two. Thank you.
So with that said, Chacha, and also at the top of this discussion, you mentioned categorically by saying, I mean, it might seem like an easy concept, but it's not as easy as one may think. And also we know handling money, just dealing with money is not the easiest thing, because I mean, money finishes. Money can almost not a lot of times meet a lot of people's needs. So when it comes to setting financial goals and people embarking on this, what would you say are the greatest challenges and setbacks that people encounter along the way that maybe make them fail to achieve what they're trying to achieve?
Yes, as you say, you've rightly put it, and which is a common myth, misconception that money get easily finished up, that money is scarce. Remember, last time we were talking about how to have a good relationship with money, whereby we need to deconstruct those notions. So when you have known the reasons why you should set a goal, as I've said, you need to have a big why. The challenge that many people face, especially at this time of the year, some of you may find are actually falling short of even achieving their 3 months goals. The greatest challenge here being is the lack of a vision, lack of a dream, lack of a lifelong goal, because the vision is actually gives you the willpower. It is what drives you. For example, you want to say, instead of saying, I want to establish an emergency fund, considering the effect of the COVID-19, you should attach a reason to that. Say, I want to establish an emergency fund that is equivalent to my 6 months salary, so that it can sustain my current lifestyle in case of a disaster, in case of a misfortune. So lack of a vision, lack of a dream makes people lag behind and not achieve their goals. For example, you can have a vision, you want to transform lives. You want to lead a comfortable life after retirement, okay? You want to live in your own palatial home. That is now a goal. That why is the one that drives you. Lack of the why, then you find there is a problem. And in fact, the second reason, second challenge that the people face is that of the assumption that one can achieve goals without necessarily writing them down. Remember, Ingrid, a goal that is not written down is a mere wish. That is just pure fantasy. Because what gets written down, what gets scheduled, gets done. And for that matter, the assumption that, okay, even if I don't write, I know the goals. No, when you write down after 3 months, after a year, you can go through the written record. And remember, writing, Ingrid, activates the sensory and the motor neurons of the brain to register in the subconscious mind, helping you work behind the scenes on how to actualize your goals. So there is that lack of now vision, the assumption that goal setting is easy, and there is actually lack of knowledge on how to set goals.
Right.
Okay, we assume that people know how to set goals. We have heard of the SMART, the acronym SMART, that model SMART.
Yes.
That S for specific,
right.
M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic stroke, recordable. Recordable means written down.
Right.
And then we have T for time bound.
Right.
Then I can add ER, smarter. The goals here should be smarter, not just smart, smarter. E for evaluation. You have to evaluate your goals from time to time. Otherwise, if you don't evaluate, you can't know your position, where you have come from and where you are at the moment and the challenges you are facing. R is for results. So when you evaluate your goal from time to time, you are able to measure the results. And as we have said, a goal is a framework that helps you measure the results, the deliverables, without which you will be lacking direction. Thank you.
Now, Chacha, in line with that, and also because once again you've mentioned a very important topic where you said some people actually set goals that are really out of reach. So, Chacha, give us a scenario where someone has followed everything that you've said. We've written down your goals. You've broken them down into whether it's short term or long term. Even in the short term, you've written down how you're going to achieve them. But we've also seen situations where people have come up with goals, and at the end of the day, they end up being so unattainable, and the person realizes that they punched above their weight. So what would you say about that? And people actually, even as they follow your guidelines, they make sure, what does someone need to think about to make sure that even as they plan for these financial goals, it's really within the reach of what they're planning for?
Yes, the basic scenario is actually now considering the SMART or the smarter model or framework I've just given. So when you have now written down your goals, take them through that smarter model to find out, one, are the goals specific. For example, you say the goals should be clear and ambiguous and straightforward. For example, as we have said, you can't just say, I want to establish an emergency fund. Attach a reason that makes it clear. For example, I want to establish an emergency fund that can support my current lifestyle in case of a disaster. Okay? So that now I start saving, let's say, 10,000 shillings per month from my salary. So that by the end of the year, I have 120. And in 3 years, you would have around 360,000. Suppose your monthly expenditure now is 100,000. And now in 3 years, you have 360. You see the amount you have saved in case of an emergency, it can last you, let's say, for, say, 3.5 months. So then you move to the next one, that the goal should be measurable. Here you attach a monetary value to your goal. How much in terms of money? For example, as we have said, I would like to save 10,000 shillings by the end of every month, so that in a year I have 120. You know, that 10,000 shillings and the 120 at the end, that is a quantifiable figure. So that goal becomes measured after even 3 months,
Right.
6 months, 12 months. You can measure and say, how much have I attained? Where have I fallen short? And you work towards improving that. Then you move to the goals being actually achievable, for that matter. The goals here should be in consideration of your sources of income. When you are setting goals, you look at your source of income. And in this case, you should not be in a comfort zone. Stretch further. Break the barriers and find a way of earning an extra income, so that now you are not working within the limited amount of money that maybe you get, which may not be enough to fund your expenses. Then as you move, then you go to the goals should be recordable, should be written down, should be realistic. For example, if you are earning 50,000 shillings, it will be unrealistic to say, I will save 30,000 shillings from my monthly salary. That, of course, also will depend on your needs and your demands and expectations. So a goal of saving 30,000 shillings out of 50 may be rather unrealistic. So you consider the aspects that are real to you. Then you move to the time aspect. You know, if you don't have a time aspect, then you will not know whether you have achieved the goal or not. So basically, run your goals through the SMART acronym, the model, to find out whether you have achieved your goals or not. And if not, analyze what led you to that and how you can overcome that scenario. Thank you.
Brilliant. I feel like you've done a very good job in explaining, even just giving us the guideline on how to do that. We'll take a very, very quick break, but we'll be right back right now to just go more into how to achieve your financial goals. So don't go anywhere. Remember, you can also be a part of the conversation by sending your feedback to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't go too far.